Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown as the mighty warrior god himself, Zablaski, leads a 20 stack of Empire to the frozen wastes of the Sea of the Chaos Isle. Not something you see every day, a 20 stack of Empire going up against Owie Dowie and his Beastmen forces. So let's get in here and have a little look at the build. So for the man tide in the front line, so we do have a mixture of swordsmen, they have tattered souls, Sigma Sons as well I believe are in here. So just cheap, cheerful chaff, but at the same time swordsmen, relatively okay damage output, particularly up against Ungors and Gors and other such units. It's not going to be terrible up against the Beastmen forces. Guard on the flanks, we do have a couple of units of spearmen, just a little bit wary of Centaurs, Razor Gore herds and other units. Come round for the flank and starting to punish the central core of this Empire build. And for that central core, we have some pretty fun units. We have the Free Company Militia. Now, when Zablaski sent this video in to me, he did say he was trying these guys out, experimenting with them a little bit, and the Free Company Militia certainly have done wonders for me in the past. These guys are a hybrid close quarters infantry unit with their pistols and rapiers ready, or cutlasses more like, to carve open the enemy. And again, Beastmen, low leadership, low armor all round, so you don't have to go too heavy with handgunners. You can get away with being a little bit more cheap with these Free Company Militia and basic archers right there in the centre. With a Grey Wizard coming in with the Pendulum, Inflebian Foe, and Melkov's Mystifying Miasma. And on the back burners, we have a couple of units of Empire Knights. 1, 2, 3, in fact. So basically as cheap as you can get, we'll still building a respected balanced build. And leading the force is going to be the mighty Volkmar the Grim, rolling dirty on his chariot, with arguably the greatest mustachio in the game. He's going to be coming in with the Grand Soulfire, Grand Shield of Faith, Grand Hammer of Sigma, Banishment, Jade Griffin, all the usual stuff you'd expect from a mighty hero of the Empire. Now for Owie Dowie and his Beastmen forces in the front line, we do have Ungor herds who are really going to struggle. It's very rare you see the Beastmen actually outnumbered by the Empire here. So Ungors across the front line, we have some spears as well. 1, 2, 3 in fact. Actually, no, it looks like the back as well. 5 spears all round, a few Ungors in the front line. We have Razor Gore herds, double Cygor, one of which is the Eye of Morslip here, the Regiment Renowned, plus a Giant. So coming with all of the bad boys, as well as a Gorball. What is this build? I love it. Coming in with the Gorball with his mighty axe, looking to cleave a couple of those Empire troops in twain. Axe of Men he does brought to the battlefield, which is very thematic here. Deadly Onslaught, Foe Seeker, all the goodies. And leading the army, we have Malagor the Dark Omen with his awesome little bird wings, coming in with Viletide, Brave Scream, and Traitor Kin. Should be a good fun game around, so let's get this battle underway. This map is one of my most hated maps. It's like Alpine Ridge if you couldn't cross the ridge. It's so ridiculous, this big old block in the middle. But it does make for some rather interesting battles. I tend to find it really funnels people into like a forward assault. And it's going to be quite hard, I think, for the Beastmen to break into the back line. But do they need to? They do have the double Cygors. They have the range advantage. They don't have to close the gap too much. They can sit back, throw shots at those Free Company Militia, whittle them down before engaging. Problem with that, Free Company Militia, pretty dirt cheap for what they do. So you're going to be getting your value from your Cygor shots. Who knows? But in comes a mighty rock clattering into the swords when they raise their shields high. And those shields do absolutely nothing. Second Cygor, a little less accurate, taking down a few of those naked fanatics of Sigma. The rocks continue to fly in. That one twirling through the air, coming in a little bit short this time. Cygors, not the most accurate creatures in the world, but of course it's not a manufactured cannon. It is just someone lobbing a big fat rock. But when it hits, my god, it hits the tattered souls. Certainly getting a little bit tattered and beat up here. Likewise, the swordsman starting to struggle. Beastmen are going to be taking the initiative though, pushing forward with their Ungor herds, as well as their Lord here, to try and hold back the Empire force where possible. Volkmar the Grim though, is just going to be charging straight headlong ahead of his army into those Ungor herds, and the real MVP of Volkmar is these 2 horses, who just headbutt all their enemies to death with righteous fury. Sigma Sons have pinned in the Ungor herds, and it looks like the archers as well as the Free Company Militia slowly starting to catch up here, looking to rain fire down onto this big old blob of large creatures, which is starting to swarm Sigma. Malagor's here, we have Gorball, we have the Giant, all starting to apply some of that pressure. Volkmar the Grim does bring down the fury of Sigma on the Ungor herds and some lovely damage to them. Likewise though, the Sigma Sons get a little bit pounded down by the Giant. Unfortunately for the Beastmen forces, they don't have enough width here to really force their way around the sides and into the back line. And now the Free Company Militia are opening up an absolute death box here. Pistol whipping that Giant whilst Volkmar pins him in place. A brave warrior priest indeed to fight such a heroic beastie, but all those shots coming in will be able to take him down rather quickly. The giant, only 30 armor, not that great whatsoever. Ungol herds are being beaten back by the Tattersouls, and the front line for the Empire is holding relatively well here, pinning in all those Ungors, and is a battle of the long range here, as the Eye of Morslib, as well as the Cygor, rain fire down on key targets in the Empire build, but likewise, those Free Company militia starting to do some big damage, and it looks like they did manage to slay that giant with relative ease here. Free Company militia now are going to be the focus of attention, likewise the archers to the Cygors, as the Empire are the ones trying to push through, but the Gorbel is on the hunt, and he has found some rather lovely prey, bulldozing his way through his own men, but also some of the Sigmar's sons, hunting down Volkmar the Grim, who's been pinned in place by a warp gaze. Gorbel going to be getting about his butcher's work here. He's currently unbreakable, causing terror, and has deadly onslaught. Malagor is a little beat up. He has been casting some overcast spells, and Malagor doesn't have the biggest HP pool, so it's always a little bit more of a risk with him. Double Cygors do aim for Volkmar, doing some really lovely damage there as the Valtide goes down on the back line on that Free Company militia. Melkov's Mr. Fun Meismer goes down the Gorbel, just looking to slow him down and buy time for the Free Company militia to really fill him with holes, and it looks like they're doing just that. Archer's also lacing a few shots his way. Poor Gorbel, it may be unbreakable at the moment, but he's not having a good time whatsoever. Ive Morslib continues to rack up the damage, and Volkmar the Grim getting danger low as the Razorgore herds coming in for that surround, poking him down there, rampaging beasts of carnage. 240 health. I don't think Volkmar's getting out of this one. A big rock comes in, killing his own piggy. How dare you? The lovely Brave Scream also catches a ton of those Empire forces, but Volkmar the Grim is dealt with. Free Company militia have been able to push up though whilst this carnage has been going on this flank, starting to shoot down the Eye of Morslib as the Empire Knights finally decide now is the time, now is the hour to commit to these frontline engagements. Pushing back and breaking the Ungor spearhead, breaking the morale, buying more time for the ranged corps to continue firing in. In this sense, we have more Empire Knights being kept in reserve who probably want to whip around the flanks, or at least shut down those Razorgore herds who are currently rampaging into Sigmar's sons. But once they regain their consciousness, they're obviously going to be going after those ranged targets. Both Cygors continue to shoot where possible. Gorbel is still alive and healthy. Where's Malagor? Oh, Malagor! Malagor, buddy, you don't want to be here. He's trying to take on the Tattered Souls, who are rather beat up at the moment, but there's still 31 of them. They're unbreakable, so they'll fight to the death, and Malagor is very, very squishy here. Ive Morslib is now being shot at, and it's kind of the same tale as earlier with that giant. He is going down super quick. Look at his HP just collapse as he really angrily just Kobe's a rock straight down onto those spearmen who have started to surround him and poke him down. The poor beastie here just getting absolutely whittled with bullets, down to 2,000 health and only 1 leadership. He has broken from the field of battle. Over on this right-hand side, the Empire Knights have managed to surround the Cygor with the help of the Tattered Souls and Swordsmen, doing a pretty decent job just keeping him in place for now. Once again, the whole kind of delaying tactic from the Empire being brought to the forefront as one Cygor has been dealt with. The Free Company militia can now move up to the second one. They're starting to run a little low on ammunition, however. More Spearmen and Empire Knights come over here to try to pin in the enemy key targets. We're going to be seeing some magic going down. We've got a Brave Scream over here and a Pendulum coming down by the Empire. Just clearing out those Ungor spearheads, allowing the Swordsmen to beat them down and help protect their back line even easier. Malagor continues to charge forward, assisting that Gorbel with a big sideways slice of the Axe of Man. He certainly ends the life of many men who are currently terrified and running for their lives. Cygor still has 4,000 HP, which isn't too shabby, with no pressure being applied to the back line anymore of the Empire. Although one big rock, as I say, that does crush some swordsmen. Those Free Company militia are gaining down so rapidly, down to below 2,000 health. He shatters. The Gorbel finally gets into the back line, but shatters himself. Army losses set in, and it is a Pyrrhic victory. The age of the Beastman is over. The age of man is now. Very well played to Zablaski, very well played to Owie Dowie as well. Two relatively unique builds you don't often get to see. Those Free Company militia certainly put on a good show of some pretty crazy damage value and damage dealt across the board. We'll get to those guys in just a second. Once again, well played to Zablaski, very good tournament player, and I've met Owie Dowie himself as well in multiple tournaments, so always a good fun time to see these guys in action. If you guys enjoyed though, before we get to damage dealt and damage value, make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Feel free to comment as well, who was your MVP of the battle, what was your favourite moments, and what would you like to see in the future, or feel free just to yell quack. You can also subscribe to the channel, we're getting very close now. to that 5,000 sub mark, which is really cool. We'll do a giveaway and all that kind of good stuff, of course, when we do hit there. And it's a real cool target we are aiming for there, so make sure to subscribe to keep up with all that glorious Total War Warhammer action. There are links in the description to my Patreon. There's also links to Nexus, where you can pre-order Total War Warhammer free, and basically any of the Warhammer games that are on Steam. Simply have a little look at my Nexus. It is the same price as ordering them on Steam. Sometimes you even get some special offers, and it's all supported by CA, and also gives back a little bit to the channel. There's also a link to my Discord down below where you can submit replays just like Zablasky did, get involved in tournaments and events that I host, and chill out with a load of cool people. So, how did the forces of the Empire perform? Pretty damn good. Free Company Militia, 1.8k damage value. It's disgusting work. 1,000 on this unit, 561, 711 here. So 2 units not faring as amazing, but they really dragged down those big beasties. The archers as well. Nearly 700 damage value here, 1,000 on this unit. Very, very impressive work there. Empire Knights really struggled. They didn't have to get into the action till the late game though, just trying to protect that back line where possible, sacrificing themselves. And they don't have the greatest damage output as far as cavalry go, but they fulfill their role of being relatively cheap and tanky. Tattersouls, 185 kills, not the best damage value, but certainly helped clear through that chaff quickly. Similar situation with the Sigma Sons, as the swordsmen got a little bit butchered for the most part, due to, of course, the double Cygor, just dropping rocks on them all day long. Spearmen as well, not the greatest damage value, but it did buy more time for their characters on range to pack a punch. Volkmar the Grim was the ultimate distraction carnifex, just absorbing all of the damage, all of the pressure, enticing in the Giant, enticing in the Gorbel, to then allow the Free Company Militia to win the day. As for Awidari's forces, always awesome to see Malagor the Dark Omen in action. He's probably the least picked, I think, of the legendary lords of the Beastmen, but coming in with nearly 2,000 damage value, certainly not shabby whatsoever. The Gorbel, a respectable 750, nothing too crazy. Frontline got absolutely pummeled by a mixture of Volkmar and its overwhelming numbers of the Empire Mantide, so they didn't perform too good whatsoever. Likewise, the Chaos Warhounds simply got shut down. Regical Herd did a nice job finishing off Volkmar the Grim, and despite the fact the Giant got obliterated rather quickly, still got 1,000 damage value, which is relatively impressive. Double Cygor, 1,062 here. Regiment round, only 945. Not too many key targets for those bad boys to aim at. So what do you guys think of the Mantide style build? Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.